Alright, Maria, back with another video, and the focal point today is going to be my homemade kitty cat. I don't know if you can see him very well, just his little face, but he's one of my favorite creations. I made him a few years ago. I have my camera balanced on a stack of books on top of my dresser. So I'm not in this video, so that's why Kitty is sitting here in my place. Okay, so last night I was talking to my husband, and I said, I'm going to coin a term, and I decided to say, or call this, everyday conservative crimes. Or I decided to change it to everyday conventional crimes. And we were talking about what people perceive as normal and normal behavior, and the lifestyle that a lot of people live and don't really realize what they are doing. And I want to read the definition of conventional and conservative. Conventional is based on or is in accordance with what is generally done or believed. Let's see here. Of a person, it's concerned with what is generally held to be acceptable at the expense of individuality and sincerity. That doesn't sound very good to me. Okay, conservative, holding to traditional attitudes and values and cautious about change or innovation, typically in relation to politics or religion. Okay. So, many people that, many people that we observed, I make these observations myself, and so is he, adhere to certain traditions, and they don't realize what their traditions mean or why they're even doing them. They're just doing it because it's been done in their families for so long. And some people tend to think, to go outside of what their grandmother did or their great-grandmother did is disrespectful and shameful, and they shouldn't do it. Well, we are free to do what we want to do by the time we're 18 years old. And there is nothing wrong with keeping traditions that have been in your family for a very long period of time. There's certain people who have very close-knit families, and they have been doing things that maybe even being in the same occupation that their ancestors have been in for many, many years. And I have to say, I admire that. I think it's wonderful. If that's really the true path that they want to follow, then I think, hey, more power to them. But there are some traditions that I think are, you have to really think about, is this actually good for me? Is it beneficial, or is it something that is inconveniencing me in this day and age? So, I was looking at marriage traditions, just for an example, okay? Now, it's customary for, I would say, European-type style weddings. And what I mean by European-style weddings are weddings that have been influenced by European culture, so that, it's very common here in the United States as well. Okay, so a father giving his daughter away is a wedding tradition, but many people don't realize that there was a time when fathers used to give their daughters away as a form of currency to pay off debts. That's one of the reasons why we have this tradition. It used to be customary for women to wear whatever dress that they thought was nicest for the occasion. But Queen Victoria wore a white dress trimmed with orange blossoms for the wedding, and at that point, everybody wanted to wear a white dress. And also, white dresses do symbolize virginity and purity. But, everybody just kind of caught on to that. Now, initially, couples would consummate their marriage in front of witnesses, and that seems a little awkward and uncomfortable, So instead of doing that, because people became more civilized slowly but surely, they adapted to wearing the garter. The garter is the little band that goes around the bride's leg, and it's supposed to let everybody know that they are going to consummate the marriage. Now, also I had a boss, the one that I was talking about, the narcissist, who was talking about tradition, and I really thought this was a good example. And please forgive me if I am not repeating this exactly the way that he put it, but it was a good example. So basically, he was talking about family traditions, and there was this family who cut off the ends of the meat, or I think it was the ham each year, and prepared it the same way. So, like for example, the great grandmother did this, and so that child followed in suit, and then so on and so on and so on, and it just kind of followed down their traditional role. And so, when they asked her, why did she do that, her explanation was because she had a pan, or the pan that was to be used for that particular ham was too small, so she cut the ends off of the ham in order for it to fit. So that means that, you know, many of her relatives that went before her, that came after her, were basically wasting good pieces of meat, and they were just doing it because of the tradition. So you have to ask yourself, is the tradition valid? Is it something that really makes sense? And if it does, and if you want to adapt to that, then by all means, adapt to that, you know. So that's one of the things about tradition. Okay, so this is what the average person, when I'm talking about the conservative or the conventional people do. Okay, they do things that don't make sense. And that's what I'm saying, is that people need to think about what they do before they do it. So many of their actions are performed, but they don't really realize the meaning behind it. Also, the evils that they do in the name of religion, and the very fact that they promote religions when they don't fully understand what their religion is all about. Their religions, nothing's wrong with following a religion, whatever religion that you choose to follow. We have the freedom to choose whatever religion we want to. Now, even the Bible says that you have the right to do whatever you want to, okay? But you are accountable to God, of course, for your actions. Hang on one second. Let me turn the light down. I had a pan boiling with some water in it, and I completely spaced it. So anyway, I'm running out of time here. So religion is one thing that a lot of people use to justify their hatred, their evil, and they don't fully understand what their religions are supposed to be about. They don't understand, like, for example, some people choose to be Lutheran. Okay, and so they don't know exactly why Lutherans are Lutherans. What are their doctrines? How did that particular denomination come about? Who was the founder of it? You know, what are the doctrines that they're supposed to be living by? And yet they don't fully even know that, and they're not living by the doctrines that are supposed to identify them as Lutherans. So it's these little things that tend to stand out to me and makes me want to say, no, this is not the kind of lifestyle I want to live. I want what's better. I want something better for myself. That's not criticizing people. It's just, you know what? I want my life to have meaning. Okay, so also the outcast of society, what many people don't think is acceptable, the things that people look down on. I have found so much sincerity and kindness in a lot of people that other people look down on. You know, I remember when I lived in different places, you know, when my son was being raised, I had, you know, met many people that, like, for example, we met this one family that actually lived in a bus, and they were the kindest, most sweetest people I had ever met in my entire life. And, you know, most of the people that I've come in contact, I'm going to say the collective, for example, have been absolute rude to me, inconsiderate. They dehumanized me from the minute I met them. And so I'm not saying that we should go out of our way to be an outcast, but I'm just saying is, you know, conventional is exactly that. It is people that who would rather be accepted at the expense of individuality and sincerity. And these people aren't sincere. They're corrupt individuals, as a matter of fact. Let's see. Okay, so here are some of the little things that they do that I perceive to be evil. They convince themselves that they do good deeds by donating items to thrift stores, and then they turn around and criticize those who wear secondhand clothes. Okay, they insist that there's equality among minorities, that, you know, women, races, religion, whatever, all the while forcing them into financial destitution. They display anger when minorities are forced to use government assistance, and they're in denial of the institutional oppression that they participate in. They demand that you convert to their religion, and they don't know anything about their own doctrines and what they believe. They cause all kinds of psychological harm, and then threaten to sue you. Okay, when they not only do they cause you psychological harm, they cause you financial harm, and then they turn around and they threaten to sue you. They hide behind masks and the safety in numbers belief. Now, I don't believe that there's safety in numbers. Okay, there's a lot of delusions in numbers. I remember growing up in school when I was bullied by kids, that, they would be all brave and being able to do all kinds of horrible things, but when they were in the group. But if I was to, meet them in the bathroom, I'll come out of the little bathroom stall and they might be at the sink and we might be all alone in the bathroom, they wouldn't say a word. So they tend to do a lot of things that they wouldn't do. They magnify and intensify their evil when they're in the group. And what else was I going to say about? Yeah, another thing about herd mentality, they talk about how people behave like at baseball games or games in general, when they stand up and they do the wave and all of that sort of stuff. Most of these people would not be able to do the things that they do if they didn't have the group, okay? Many of these people are basically cowards. That's not cool. Let's see here. They claim to be proud to be American, yet they despise and directly oppose the First Amendment. That means they hate freedom of speech. They hate the fact that you can choose your own religion. If they had their own choice, they would be like a dictatorship. Okay, the way that these people behave. And if they don't realize that, then they're ignorant of the very foundation of what this country was supposed to be about. They get teary-eyed over movies like the Holocaust, Ruth, and Mississippi burning, and yet they turn around and participate in racist behaviors. So this is the sort of thing that I consider to be everyday conventional crime. And they don't realize it, but that's exactly what it is. So I'm the kind of person, I want to know what I believe. I want to be sincere in my life, and I do respect individuality. I respect it because, and sincerity. I don't want to hurt people. And if I do hurt people, then I want to correct my actions so I don't do it again. I want life to be better, not just for myself, but for other people, and especially, targeted individuals, because some of these people, the reason why they're oppressed is because they are exactly that. They're very sincere and they're individualistic. So anyway, I just wanted to make a video and state that. Express myself on this video, and excuse that the room and it's dark. It's kind of a storm going on outside, and the lighting in this room is very poor anyway. So I'm basically using the sunlight that's covered up by the clouds. So I'm going to wrap up this video, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Bye bye.